Hi, baby boomer fans. We are Jackie and Janine, the Pfeiffer sisters, and love to talk about the 1950s, inviting you to reminisce with us as we explore experiences of that decade.
We chronicled the distinct memories of our childhood in our book, While the Windmill Watched, a slice of rural America in the 1950s, which takes you on a notably historic journey through that often forgotten decade. We also want to hear about your experiences during the 1950s. We will feature guests whose special stories of that decade will bring to mind magical moments of reflection, some with tears, some with smiles, but above all, a good dose of laughter.
We would like you to chat with us as we bring to mind the sights and sounds so familiar to that time in history. Grab your favorite malt or Green River. Make sure you are wide awake and get ready to be inspired about the 1950s. Welcome to the 1950s Fun Chat. Hi, friends. This is number 66 in our 1950s Fun Chat broadcast. And I tell you, every time that we have a new guest on, my knowledge about the 1950s is so broadened. How about yours, Jackie?
Indeed it is.
Oh, yes. None of us had the same story during that decade of our lives. We might have had some similarities, but every story is different, no matter where our guest has lived, if they've lived in the country or the city, if they've lived in North Dakota or Minnesota or Timbuktu. Everyone has a different story. And this month, during the month of December, in which holiday music is so influential in our lives, we want to honor and tell the stories of some special friends of ours who have immersed themselves in music for so many years. And so much of this music inspiration started in their lives in the 1950s. So, Jackie, let's get started today. We have a wonderful guest.
Before we actually introduce the guest, I'd like to call our viewers' attention to the bottom of the screen. You'll see www.whilethewindmillwatch.com. That is our website where you can get all sorts of information about the authors, about the book, about the Fun Chat, and about what's happening to this little book that we wrote as the years go on. I also want to call your attention to the upper right-hand corner where you see a picture of the book. The cover is of a beautiful North Dakota sunset, which wraps around the cover. And then, of course, you'll notice the windmill, the silhouette of the windmill, and the silhouette of the two little girls. Also, in that lower right-hand corner, you'll see a little white spot, and it may be hard to read, but what it indicates is this. The book was awarded the 2022 National Independent Press Award in the regional nonfiction category as a distinguished favorite. So that happened a year after our little book was published. So we're really pleased to have that. Mm-hmm. Now then, may I introduce to you our guest. Her name is Jodi Greiner, and we welcome you, Jodi, to the 1950s Fun Chat.
Hi, Jodi.
Hi. Nice to be here with
Thank
you.
We're glad you could join us. So Jodi Greiner was born in 1947 in Moberly, Missouri, the oldest of two children of Joe and Barbara Rogers. Because her father was a career Air Force, she lived in 11 different states. Jodi graduated from High School, Warrenburg, Missouri, in 1965. After high school, she attended Stevens College, where she earned a Bachelor of Fine Arts and a Master of Music from the University of Missouri, both located in Columbia, Missouri. Jodi married her husband, Frank, of 53 years in 1970. After a 5-year career of singing principal roles as a member of the St. Louis Opera Company, her husband's work took them to Atlantic, Iowa in 1979, where she gave both piano and voice lessons until her retirement in 2003. The couple now resides in Estero, Florida, where she serves as the director of the Riverwoods Chorus. They have 3 children and 7 grandchildren. Now we're going to begin our topic today of music, especially noted in the Christmas season. This is our central theme. And so our chat will begin by hearing of how your family influenced your musical memories of the 1950s. Tell us about that, please.
Well, I come from a long line of musicians. My grandmother was a singer and a pianist. My mother was a pianist and an organist. And my aunt played the piano and sang. And so I heard music all my life, from the time I was a baby. And I recall, one special event where my mother knew that I was musical because we went to my grandmother's church for a Christmas program. And I was about 10 months old. And I heard a pipe organ playing for the first time in my life. And she said that I shook. And kind of like you would get goosebumps, when you hear something. Yeah, only I shook. And so she knew that I was musical from that point. And then when I was about 4 or 5 years old, we got a television that was black and white, of course, and we had about 3 stations. But every Sunday night, we would watch the Ed Sullivan Show.
Yes.
And oh my goodness, he had wonderful performers on it, wonderful entertainers. And I particularly liked watching the dancers. And my mom said that every time there would be a dancer on the screen, that I would jump up and start dancing along with them. So, yeah, I decided that, I wanted to be a dancer. I wanted to learn ballet. And so she found me a studio to go to in Spokane, where we lived. We lived at Fairchild Air Force Base at that time because my dad was a career military man. And so I took dancing lessons in Spokane. And then when I was 5 years old, she decided that I should take piano lessons. And I studied with a Dr. Moldenhauer in Spokane. He was a pure German musician, but he was, very good at teaching me the most important things, the basic things about music, classical music. And that's all I knew from then on was classical music. I heard it in my home. I heard it at my grandmother's, I heard it on the radio. I heard it on record players, that's all I knew. We didn't have, I didn't have much exposure to rock and roll, even when Elvis Presley came on the scene. I really didn't care. And I know that's really different.
But that's okay.
Most people in my generation loved Elvis Presley.
So would you tell us what you consider the basics of classical music?
I don't think I understand the question.
Well, you said you learned the basics of classical music. So what did that entail?
Well, that means note reading, counting, musical terms, hand position, posture, all of those, musicianship, not just playing notes, but, playing with feeling and emotion.
Okay.
And I hate to say it, but that is not taught very much anymore. Those things are not taught. I speak from experience with my grandchildren. It's just a real problem trying to find a good classical musician who will teach them the basics. Yeah, they want them to learn music, learn how to play music before they even know how to read it. That's just ridiculous. It's getting the cart before the horse. But anyway.
Yes.
That's what I mean by the basics.
Okay, sure. Got it.
And Jodi, when did you start to perform in your childhood?
Hmm. Well, Sunday school.
Hmm.
I,
Hmm.
I, I,
Probably Christmas programs.
I sang, yeah, in Christmas programs and Bible school, and yeah.
Hmm.
But I don't really remember anything specific.
Okay.
Okay. So then along that same line, although you'll get to it and tell us why it's the same line, I understand you have had at least one epiphany moment. So tell us about that.
The epiphany moment.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my. Well, I was married. I had a child. She was not quite a year old. And I was also still singing with St. Louis Opera Company. And finding it very difficult more and more to leave her and to leave my home and husband.
Mm-hmm.
And about that time, my mother sent me a book called The Late Great Planet Earth by Hal Lindsey. And I read it, and it just totally changed my life, my direction, everything. And I knew that, this was my out. This was, I kind of wanted to get out of singing professionally anyway, but this was my out because I felt a call of God to do so.
Mm-hmm.
And then did you go into teaching after that, or was there a break of time that from performing to when you did begin teaching?
Not a whole lot. I actually started singing evangelistically in Kansas City, and I was asked to come to many, many churches to sing and give my testimony. And I was even asked to come up to Chillicothe, Missouri for, oh golly, I can't remember the guy's name. One of David Wilkerson's converts.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I sang up there, and so people around the state were getting to know me, and I was asked to come and teach at a summer Bible camp down in South Missouri. I want to say it was Windermere, but when I was there, we had guest directors, choir directors come in, and so I got to sing for a lot of those people. I also was asked to sing at a prayer breakfast for Kit Bond in Jefferson City, and that was a real highlight. But teaching came later. I actually got started teaching at William Jewell College in Liberty, Missouri, which it's a Baptist college, and they had a wonderful music department. And the reason why I was asked to come up there was because the director of the music department heard me sing at a church in Independence, Missouri. And he just thought, well, maybe she'd like to, maybe she'd like to teach. So I'd never done it before, but anyway, I went and I taught there for 2 years. And until Frank got a transfer to Iowa. So we moved to Iowa, and I found myself in churches, accompanying, playing the organ. I taught myself how to play the organ, and then choir directing too. So
yes, you've been very influential in our hometown when you lived here in Atlantic, in the realm of anything musical, Jodi. Anything musical. It was a joy to have been a part of your musical direction when you were here. Yeah,
thank you. And
So,
if I had the energy, if I was younger and had the energy, I'd still be doing it because I love it.
How did you learn to teach music?
Well, I learned to teach from my teacher in college. His name was Mr. Umlauf. And He not only taught me how to sing, but he taught me how to listen critically to other singers. In fact, he would have all of his students about once a week come into the studio and sing for each other. And we would listen to them and we would make comments, either positive or negative. And so I developed a critical ear that way because of that experience.
Mm-hmm.
For
Sure.
4 years. For 4 years. Yeah, for 4 years.
Great training. Great training.
So
Well, Jodi, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, and when I started teaching in Atlantic, those are things that I would listen for in my students too. Like Janine, when you came for your lesson, your first lesson, I listened to you sing. I don't know what it was, but I listened to you sing something and, mentally would just take notes on what you needed.
Mm-hmm.
And usually with most beginning students, it's breath. They need to learn how to breathe. So that was one of the first things I taught you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I don't remember that first lesson, but I do remember many other lessons that we had, and they were great. They were great, and that's how our friendship developed, also.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So
and I was so proud of you when you sang "No Room" in our Christmas musical. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do. Yes, that was that was probably my first solo time, and it was and the song that I could put a lot of emotion into, and I like doing that.
I just remember the applause. I mean, the people loved it. They loved how you sang, and I think you were getting over a cold too, weren't you?
Yeah, it could have been. It could have been. Well, Jodi, let's go back to the time when you were. It seems to me that you had won a contest with singing "I Feel Pretty."
Oh, that was
Tell us about that.
Oh, that was I was probably barely junior high, and there was just a little talent contest in my grandmother's town. We visited there every summer, and she encouraged me to try out for it. I think there was maybe a little prize, maybe $5-10, not much. But yeah, I sang "I Feel Pretty." I don't know why I selected that song, but I sang it and I won the prize.
Whatever.
Did that inspire you to enter more contests?
Well, it made me start thinking about, how I would rather sing than play the piano or dance. Because by the time I got into high school, I hadn't quite gotten my height yet, and so I was kind of on the chubby side, and and I couldn't jump off the floor anymore.
Oh goodness!
I couldn't do my grand jetés.
We're not very grande.
No, they weren't too grande.
So let's get back to the subject at hand: holiday music. So
Yes.
what comes to mind when you think of holiday music in the 1950s? Be it secular and or sacred?
Well, we always listened to Bing Crosby.
Mm.
Who was from Spokane, by the way?
Oh, really?
Yep.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
White Christmas, was that a favorite?
White Christmas. Yeah.
Did you watch the movie also when he was in it?
Oh yeah. Who hasn't?
Yes, right.
Solid. So, what else, Jodi? What other things come to your mind? 1950s music.
Christmas music. Oh golly, that was in the 50s. That was 65, 70 years ago. I don't remember any more than I told you, really.
Okay.
Do you have a favorite Christmas song?
Oh yes. I love the Wessex Carol.
Yes. How does that start again?
Yes.
Good Christians all, Now hear my voice. Da, 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 da,
Da,
da,
da, da, da.
da,
La,
da,
la,
da.
la,
I don't know the words. I know
Well,
I know
that is a
the
beautiful
music
piece.
very well, and I love What Child Is This?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
anything that has kind of a medieval
Mhm.
Celtic
Mm,
Mhm.
yeah.
to it. Hmm.
Mhm.
I
Minor
love
key.
Ceremony of Carols. Do you remember when we did
Yes.
Ceremony of Carols?
Janine and I did that was it college or
In
high
college?
school? High school? Yeah, high
Yes.
school. Love it.
But Jodi directed it here too in Atlantic,
Oh,
and
We
we
did.
had actually used a harpist on
We had
some of the.
oh yeah.
no other accompaniment but harp.
Oh,
Yeah,
wonderful. Beautiful.
It
it
was
was.
it was a magical moment. That wasn't the 50s, but it was, it was
It's
still
still
great.
magical. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever have a desire to play another instrument other than piano?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
When you've got the piano, you've got them all.
Oh, wait. In junior high, I played the timpani.
Oh,
Oh, that's
I had to take band,
uh-huh.
and yeah, I had to play timpani.
well,
And
at least you could read music.
I was terrible at it though. I couldn't change the sounds fast enough. So I would miss beats, and oh golly, I was so glad when that was over.
True confessions here.
Was band a required course?
Junior high it was.
Oh,
in
that's wonderful.
South Dakota. Yeah, as well as choir. I was in choir too.
Mhm.
Okay, wonderful. Did you ever go Christmas caroling in your younger years?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Very
Okay.
50s.
And
We still
did you dress up as Old English carolers, the Dickens carolers?
don't remember doing that. We would usually do it through the church. Um, in the 50s, I lived in places where it was extremely cold, so
Mm.
we were all dressed up, like Eskimos.
Mhm.
What was your? Do you have a favorite
It's getting dark.
holiday presentation that you were involved with?
Well, I sang in a mall in Night Visitors.
Oh, did you?
That's right.
Oh.
Yes.
Yes, I was a freshman at Stevens, and I was the understudy for the mother.
Uh-huh.
So I didn't get to sing the role. I've never gotten to sing the role,
Oh,
but I
okay.
learned it because I had to.
Sure.
Mhm.
Sure.
That is the first operetta that I saw in first grade, and I was just so enthralled.
Yeah.
It just overtook me. I was just,
Well,
I love it.
it's a beautiful story for one thing.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
The music at that time sounded strange to me. It was, it was modern. It was late 19th or early 20th century. I can't remember. Boy, is it getting dark in here.
Mhm.
There we go. That's good.
Okay. I forget where it's almost 6 o'clock and it gets dark here early.
Uh-huh.
But very, very sweet story. And I loved it. I can still sing the music. I can still sing it.
How did you?
Mother, come to me.
Oh yeah,
Come with me. I want to be sure that you see what I see.
Oh yeah. Well, what I remember is Amal.
Yes.
Time to go to bed, and Amal would say, "Coming."
Were you disappointed that you never got to actually be on stage with it? To have been the role of the understudy rather than the lead actress?
I was praying that the lead would get sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that awful? She was a nice gal. I felt bad.
This just proves that music is so international. It's a language everyone speaks and everyone can enjoy, even
Yes.
though we may not speak the same languages, or we three do. But music just doesn't have a language,
You're right.
a barrier that it's all languages.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's absolutely. I
Mm-hmm.
absolutely believe that.
And there's such a advantage of having musical education for a child for
Mhm.
so many reasons. I can't
Mhm.
I won't even enumerate them now. But
Yeah.
very
Memorization
important.
is huge. Memorization, just to
Oh,
learn that.
memorization. Oh
Mhm.
yeah. Do
Can
that.
you? I find it hard to memorize anymore as I get older.
Oh, me-
Repetition is good, but boy, it still doesn't seem to
Mhm.
it
sink
doesn't
in.
come as fast as it used to. Yeah.
No.
Correct.
Yeah.
How does it for you,
But
Jodi?
I still remember the Gettysburg Address, right?
Yep, I do too.
I think I
And,
did pretty good with that.
yeah. On the spur of the moment, you didn't know you would be asked to say that.
No, no, I did not know.
You know, in our book, that is mentioned. What is mentioned about it is that children no longer memorize as we needed to, as we were taught to memorize,
Mhm.
and that's a disadvantage.
I think so too. I think it's a shame. Like I said, the traditional, the basics of music just is not taught anymore. It's just
If you were to start with a student, I'm thinking a piano student who would not have any idea how to play the piano, what would be your first steps in working with that student, whether it be a child or an adult?
well, I would first introduce them to the keyboard and tell them there are 88 keys here, and you're to find middle C, and I'd show them where middle C is, and then I'd go on from there, teaching the other notes. I love the G or the Thompson,
Oh,
Oh, okay.
serious. Uh-huh.
Mhm.
the Thompson method was proven, and I had many students that started out with Thompson, and went on to become good pianists.
Mhm.
Like Brad Peerbolt, like um, not Mark Kine, but Matt Kine. Matt Kine.
Okay.
Yeah. Boys. Those are boys.
Uh-huh. Sure. The do you prefer starting with a child versus an adult?
I think it it's just a given, that children are like empty slates, and the younger they are, the better. Yes, I think children should be taught early. However, in piano, I never took a student that wasn't at least second grade. They had to know the alphabet, because my method was based on the first seven letters of the alphabet.
Okay. Okay.
These days, though, children know the alphabet when they're 5 or sooner than that.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
And also they had to have what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think.
That's okay.
Attention span, strong attention span.
Attention span, right? Yeah, they have to be interested. It has to be fun to learn.
When they're 4 or 5 years old, attention span that's a real problem for some kids. And I can even remember, starting at 5, and I can remember my attention span wasn't too great, and my teacher wouldn't put up with it. He'd tap my fingers with a pencil.
Did your teacher require that your fingernails had to be cut quite short so that they wouldn't tap on the keys?
Yes.
Yes. I know.
Yeah.
Hers too.
Yeah. And to this day, I can't have long fingernails.
I know. I agree. They drive me nuts.
Yeah,
and we couldn't have bracelets or rings on either. Our hands had, yeah. And so when I play the piano, which is rare now because I gave my piano away to my daughter, I always had to take off my rings. I couldn't have anything on my fingers.
I didn't remember that.
Yeah.
Really? I don't think I ever wore a ring until I got married, but
okay.
But it doesn't bother me.
Okay.
Did you find that living in Missouri and having the ability to perform, or operatically, and then evangelical music. I'm sorry, and then to come to a smaller town where those opportunities might not have been available to you. Was that a hard move, or did you just end up reaching out and branching out into other areas just to be involved in music?
Well, yes, and yes. When we moved to Atlantic, I didn't start teaching right away because for one thing, I was pregnant with my third child. But I actually, I said in my introduction that I felt like I had the best of both worlds, because I could continue singing the way I wanted to. In fact, I was asked to be a soloist with the Omaha Symphony when we did Messiah.
Mm-hmm.
Were you in that, Janine?
I wasn't.
Okay.
Are you a soprano or an alto?
Soprano.
Soprano. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did some things in Atlantic. I made my own entertainment. I just offered what I knew, and if people liked it and wanted to come, they came. So, but I think my biggest contribution probably to the Christmas season was being willing to direct Christmas musicals from my church. And quite often we invited other churches, to come and sing with us too. And we did some big productions, if you remember. That, Noel, Jesus is Born. That was a really big one in which Janine soloed. Almost got a standing ovation.
Almost.
No, I think you did.
Thank you.
Were you in the audience when Janine did her solo concert? Were you in the audience when Janine did her solo concert?
The Patty Hannon concert?
Yeah. Oh, probably not.
I flew down to Omaha so I could be at that rehearsal, or that recital.
Oh, gee. What year was that?
Do you remember, Jackie, what year it was? Well, the girls, our girls were probably junior high school age.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have a picture on my bulletin board. I can show you.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway.
No, that was, I always say for my life that there's a season to what I do, a season for everything. And Jodi, what season are you in right now musically?
Season? Christmas?
Well, the season of your life. With music, you've gone from opera singing to teaching to directing. Where are you now with music?
Well, I'm not active much in Atlantic anymore because I have allergies, so I don't sing, very well anymore. But I stopped choir directing up there, but I'm a director down here in Florida.
So what is Riverwoods Chorus?
We live in a community called Riverwoods.
Oh, okay.
For retired people. And so I became the director about 10 years ago. And we have a choir of about 50 to 60 people every year. Yeah, it's really neat because, I can do whatever I want with this
You're
group,
the boss.
and they love it.
And what are you doing now with them?
Huh?
What are you doing now with them?
Well, we're getting ready for a show in February. And my theme is going to be patriotic music. So we're doing a beautiful arrangement of America the Beautiful, and some other patriotic numbers, and then we're going to end with the Wilhowski Battle Hymn of the Republic. That's the one that the Mormon Tabernacle Choir does, and I love it. And
Yes.
all of my choir music, as Janine probably knows, it's all recorded in my studio. I do my own accompanying, and
I love that.
yeah, and so my accompaniment music for my choir sounds orchestrated, with strings and even timpani. I want to throw that in.
Yeah. I tell you, it'd
Yeah.
be worth moving to that retirement community just to be in your choir.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Jan and Dave Highfield did. Yeah, they
Is she
did.
playing? Is she accompanying you, or a choir, or singing?
She's singing.
Okay. Mhm.
I do my own accompanying.
Okay. All righty. Well, and are you doing anything special for the holidays?
We're just going to carol at the hall.
Okay. Okay.
Just Christmas carols. No musicals. I really want to do something like that. Maybe next year.
Mhm.
Do a Christmas musical, and if I have enough people, we're really pre-season right now. The season begins in January, and this place will be
Oh, sure.
flooded with
Sure.
people, and that's when I'll have my 60 voice choir.
Uh-huh.
Um, and that's the best time, really to do something big like a Christmas musical. So, instead of the kind of music that we usually do in February, I may just do a Christmas musical.
Hey, that's beautiful any time of the year.
It,
Mhm.
you,
Send that
you're
message.
you're right. It is. The
Mhm.
message is still there in February or whenever.
Well, Jodi, I have to mention that when I had voice lessons with you, it was when I was pregnant with our second child, and remember when I would come and I'd be so hungry, and
I do remember.
I'd be
I know
so
I know what you're going to say. I know what you're going to say.
I'd be so hungry for tuna noodle casserole, and she had.
Oh, yes, I know. And so I go and fix you some, and then you come back and sing, and
Oh, it was wonderful.
then I give
What
you
a
more
friend.
before you go home. And
I know, it was great. It was
you
great.
were a
What other
hungry
teacher would?
lady.
Yes.
That,
Well, Well, viewers, we have been visiting with Jodi Greiner, who originally my lifetime, anyway, from Atlantic, Iowa, but now lives in Florida. And it's been a wonderful walk down memory lane, both for us and for Jodi, as she called her musical life. And as we talked about the seasons of life, and she mentioned how really the seasons of her musical life have changed too with the years, and that is bound to happen as we age and as we grow in knowledge. And so we are so thankful, Jodi, that you joined us today. But I would like to ask one question. What was it from the 1950s that stayed with you all throughout your adult life? Was there a certain inspiration there?
just my start in music. All my lessons, And,
Mhm.
um, I mean, that was those lessons were the basics for everything that is musical about me,
Yes.
and I'm
Yes.
I'm very musical.
Mhm.
Yes. What a gift. What a gift you are.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
You're
Oh,
welcome.
you're so sweet.
Yeah.
We thank you again, Jodi. This has been so much fun. And viewers, we do hope that you will return next week when we have another guest who will tell us his life involved with music, and it's a unique one and a fun one to learn about also. This is a great time in our holiday season as we approach Christmas and New Year's, and when the music seems to be just coming out from all speakers wherever that we might be located. And so enjoy Christmas music while you can this holiday season, because it's fun and it's
Oh yeah.
beautiful.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
And so
Yeah.
uh, until next time, we look forward to seeing you back. But even involved in that Christmas music, there might even be some rock and roll, or there might even be some bunny hops to go to, or whatever that you have recalled. And
Oh,
that
I
was
forgot
part
to
of the 50s.
forgot to tell you that last year I went to see Mannheim Steamroller down
Oh,
here.
yeah.
Oh, yes.
Hmm.
Wonderful. Oh, inspirational.
Yes. Oh, I loved it. I just loved it. And then another year we went to a church and saw an FGCU concert. That's Florida Gulf Coast University. They have a wonderful choir, and their music was beautiful, just beautiful. They even began one of their songs with a chorus of goblets filled with water, and they would,
Oh,
they
neat.
go round and round on the goblet and make this gorgeous sound.
Yes. Oh, that's
Yeah.
that's
That
unique.
that made Christmas for me that year, was hearing that group.
Well, viewers, I would like to have you be sure you take a look at below below on your screen. You'll see that red button. That's the subscribe button. Hit that if you would, please. And then the blue thumbs up button. We hope that you will join us again. Tell your friends, even your family, about the 1950s Fun Chat. So until next time, toodaloo.
Bye-bye.
Merry Christmas to you both.
Merry
Thank you.
Christmas to
Merry
you,
Christmas.
Jodi, and thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.